Hey everyone. So you know how you have those classes where you're just trying to get through the day and then something happens that makes you realize you are watching a genius at work? Today, I'm telling you about the dumbest thing I ever saw happen in a high school chemistry class and how it led to the most brilliant takedown I've ever witnessed. The arrival of the unbeliever. Our chemistry teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, was the chillest dude you could ever meet. He was the kind of teacher who made you actually want to learn about balancing equations and chemical reactions. He had this calm, patient energy. But all of that changed one day, mid-semester, when a new kid transferred in. His name was Jacob. He was the walking, talking embodiment of teenage angst, backwards baseball cap, loud gum chewing, and a permanent slouch. The moment he broke Mr. Rodriguez was during a lab where we were measuring how temperature affects reaction rates. We were all diligently working, and then Jacob, without a hint of irony, raised his hand and asked, "Mr. R, why are we even doing this? Chemistry is fake anyway." The pencil Mr. Rodriguez was holding snapped in half. You could feel the tension in the room. We all held our breath. "Excuse me?" Mr. Rodriguez said, his voice dangerously low. Jacob just slouched deeper in his chair. "My uncle says chemicals are just made up by companies to sell us stuff we don't need." The girl next to me almost dropped her beaker. Mr. Rodriguez took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. He tried to reason with him. "Jacob, the phone in your pocket, those sneakers you're wearing, even the gum you're chewing, all of it is made possible by chemistry." But Jacob was having none of it. "Nah," he said, pulling out his phone. "This is just metal and glass." A few kids laughed nervously. I glanced at Mr. Rodriguez. His eye was actually twitching. We were watching a man break in real time. The challenge. That's when something changed. The twitching stopped. A slow, terrifying smile spread across Mr. Rodriguez's face. Not his normal, friendly smile, but the kind of smile that made us all sit up straight. We knew something was about to go down. "Okay then," he said, walking to the supply cabinet. "Let's try something." He grabbed a bottle of vinegar and some baking soda. "If chemistry isn't real, nothing should happen when I mix these, right?" Jacob just shrugged. "Probably just tricks, like magicians do." When the mixture foamed and bubbled up dramatically, Jacob didn't even flinch. He just yawned and said, "CGI looks better." And that was it. That was the final straw. Mr. Rodriguez's smile got even wider. "Jacob," he said, "for tomorrow's homework, I want you to record a video explaining why chemistry isn't real." The class went silent. Jacob, however, looked thrilled. He pulled out his phone and started planning his video in his head. He had no idea what he was walking into. The takedown. The next day, Jacob came into class, beaming. He pulled out his phone and showed us a TikTok he had made. It was full of random screenshots from conspiracy websites with him spouting nonsense and saying, "Do your research," after each point. He was so proud of himself. Mr. Rodriguez just nodded politely, letting him have his moment. When Jacob was finished, Mr. Rodriguez walked over to his laptop. "I also prepared something," he said quietly. Up popped a slideshow titled, "Jacob's Day Without Chemistry." The first slide showed a cartoon Jacob waking up. The next showed him going to brush his teeth, but the toothpaste vanished. Then his shampoo disappeared, then his deodorant, then his clothes. Since the dyes and fabrics are all chemical compounds, the cartoon Jacob was suddenly naked, looking confused. Then his breakfast of processed food disappeared. His phone and his car vanished, and by the end, cartoon Jacob was standing naked in a field, eating a raw potato. The entire class was trying to hold in their laughter, but Mr. Rodriguez wasn't done. He pulled out a folder. "I also took the liberty of printing your TikTok comments." He started reading them aloud. "Dude, is your science teacher okay with you failing this bad? My 5-year-old cousin knows more chemistry than this guy. Please tell me this is satire. Jacob's face turned bright red as the class erupted in laughter. Mr. Rodriguez raised his hand for quiet. Here's the deal, Jacob. You can believe whatever you want, but in this classroom, we test our beliefs with evidence. He handed Jacob a simple experiment kit. Prove me wrong with this and I'll give you an A for the semester. Jacob stared at the kit. Then slowly, for the first time all semester, he put his phone away. Fine, whatever, he mumbled. The aftermath. 2 weeks later, Jacob stopped me after class. Don't tell anyone, he whispered, showing me his phone. It was filled with chemistry videos, not conspiracy stuff, but actual educational videos. He was teaching himself. He looked at me, a little embarrassed, and said, "This stuff is actually kind of cool." Mr. Rodriguez definitely saw it. He wasn't blind, but he just smiled his normal, chill smile and pretended not to notice. And that's the most brilliant thing I've ever seen in a classroom. Mr. Rodriguez didn't just win an argument, he taught a lesson. He showed us all that sometimes the smartest teachers win by letting you think it was your idea all along.